Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Mercury conjunct one's natal ascendant. When you're talking about transits that involve Mercury, they can manifest in uh, energy that's about being objective, emphasizing communications, uh, thinking, and also learning, assimilating information. So when you have this transit of Mercury that contacts one's natal ascendant or rising sign, this could emphasize really being objective uh, and communications and also thinking and learning. It could be about matters, for example, pertaining to one's physical body, the vitality and energy. Yes, the ascendant is what dominates. Ascendant is what dominates the appearance. It's the physical body. And if we have, say, if this is in Pisces, for example, it could be matters, thinking and wanting to understand more about certain issues with your physical body, connected maybe with the feet, the toes, the lymphatic system, your immune system, and even matters with lethargy. It could be matters with even could be body fat, because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is associated with body fat, and also our vitality and our energy as well. If you have this, say, in Leo, if your ascendant is in Leo and you're having this transit, your energy may be nearly inexorable and indefatigable, but you may still need to understand matters with, overexertion, because Leo people often don't know when to quit, and they still can succumb to certain issues associated with their vitality because of that. Now, it's also about really learning about contemplating about new beginnings. If you have this in the zodiac sign Cancer, say, it could be very contemplative energy connected with new beginnings or Cancerian new beginnings, such as like home remodeling, renovation, roofing, siding, real estate. It could be cooking or doing some kind of laundry business. Now, also too, when you have this transit, again, this could be about where you're thinking and communicating, even talking about your appearance. And if you have this, say, in Gemini, and especially if you have transit Mercury hitting the ascendant, to give you even another example, even say if you have this in Aquarius, you might have this, really, maybe you have a very, unusual or bizarre appearance. It might not be in the face. It could be just, I'm not talking about the face necessarily, but perhaps the clothes that you wear. You could be very non-conforming, and you may be talking and articulating matters that are associated with this at this time. Now, the ascendant is also associated with one's outlook. So this could be a time where there may be really trying to understand maybe your own outlook a little better. Mercury is associated with learning and really being objective in your outlook. It could be for one's future. Say if you have this in Capricorn, it could be where your outlook might be a little bit, somewhat negative or pessimistic, and then you may be thinking about this and saying, well, is this really the right complete outlook to have? You're not going to change, your whole demeanor, outer personality, but it might be a time where you might be thinking about, some things that might need some fine tuning as far as your outlook goes. And if you have this in Sagittarius, it could be a very expansive and upbeat outlook that you might be communicating about at this time, and really learning about maybe how to even improve your outlook regardless of this of the sign that this is in. Also, too, the ascendant also can be tied into a grandmother, so communications might liven up with a grandmother at this time. Even people from your early childhood. If this is, say, in Scorpio, they might be Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Scorpio characteristics. Well, actually, as far as that goes, I may actually made a mistake. The first house can actually be the grand. Gonna say the could be a could be a grandfather, I believe, as well, in addition to a grandmother. So it could go either way, and this could be a time where you may have more communications with a grandparent at this time, perhaps more so than usual. So anyway, um, another thing is that looking at this the courage. The first house is also the house I would say connected with courage because first house does correspond with the zodiac sign Aries. Now, this could be about thinking about doing things that for you and your courage level. Do you feel that you've been maybe thinking about whether you've been overly passive? Have you been aggressive or assertive enough? If this is an Aries, might not be much problem with this because you can be somebody perhaps that might be very somebody that might be very courageous and have a lot of initiative and enterprise and maybe planning on new beginnings. Remember, the first house is also about our new beginnings and doing it very courageously. Say if this is in the zodiac sign Aries, and the ascendant is also about our first impression on others. So this could be a time where you might be contemplating more about how you're going to make a first impression on somebody, whether it's a prospective employer or what have you. If it's in Virgo, say, it could be somebody that you can show that you're very punctual and reliable, and somebody that could be very detail oriented on at least as far as the qualities you might express very readily and easily. Now again, this could be a time when you have this transit. It can be learning about physical issues. This could be a time where when you look at this could be a time, as I talked about Pisces before, with the toes, the feet, the lymphatic system, anything that might be connected with your physical body at this time. It can be something that you might really be focusing in on right more as far as trying to get more information about. And also too, you might come across as more loquacious and more talkative on a first impression, more so than usual at this time. Remember, the ascendant is about our first impressions, and Mercury is voluble. Can be very talkative energy. Even if this is in a feminine sign or it's a more introverted sign like Pisces or Virgo or Cancer, you can come across as somebody that's a little bit more talkative than usual. The transit is not going to last that long, but remember that the transit of Mercury will be in your first house for some time, so there will be a little bit of a carryover as far as that goes. Even after it conjoins your ascendant, it might not be as intense as when it conjuncts the one's ascendant, but it can still have some effect, and you'd be more likely to want to communicate and converse with others more so than usual at this time. Now, siblings, cousins, and neighbors might figure more prominently, more so than usual, in your outlook in new beginnings at this time, more so than usual. It can say if this is in the zodiac sign Gemini, you might they might impact even more like a very vivacious outlook on life at this time. And Capricorn could be more of a very serious one as another example. And the ascendant is also connected with our vitality and energy. So again, if this is in Gemini, the siblings, cousins, neighbors might impact your vitality for better or worse. They might cause you to deplete your energy by pulling you in a lot of different directions. Gemini could be very multifaceted. Gemini rising and versatile and trying to do too many things, and spreading yourself too thin. And another thing too is that, and a lot of that can be dependent and predicated on aspects. I mean, if this is making an adverse aspect to your Saturn, it might limit your energy to some degree, or even in like Pisces, you might be always running around doing a lot of different things, may wind up making you feel a lot more lethargic and feel more like fantasizing, relaxing at someone as opposed to actually doing something. Now, another thing too is that you might naturally be more inquisitive, more so than usual, asking more questions, and they could very well be questions that are pertaining to your to the sign that it is in. I mean, If it's an Scorpio, it might be things that are very mind-boggling and mysteries and like these wonders of the world that might not be solved, these ancient pyramids and things like things of that nature. It can be maybe there's some crime in your neighborhood if you have this in the third house. No, it wouldn't be the third house. I'm sorry. This is the ascendant. So that's the only example I could use, unfortunately, in this particular segment. But it can be things again. If it's in Scorpio, it could be Scorpio related things. It could be matters connected with surgery and matters pertaining to death. Again, things that could be mysterious, maybe even questions regarding locksmithing, for example. And those are forensics investigation, things of that nature. Hold on a moment, people. Anyway, another thing too is that this could also be a time when you have this transit that you might have more, possible issues that are Mercury related, called mercurial issues. Could be with the arms, the hands, the lungs, eyesight. It might be, could be even breathing issues, and also even with the brain. That Mercury is connected with that. If this is in Pisces, I mean, not being facetious or flippant, but maybe brain fog, because that's the sign. That's the energy Pisces is associated with. It could be matters with brain fog or dissipation, of maybe terms of memory, perhaps. Pisces is associated with dissolving, dissipating energy. And it could also manifest in maybe donning a more youthful type of look at this time. Mercury does rule Gemini. Gemini, I would say, is the sign really of eternal youth. You might even have increased dexterity at this time, being able, like if you're involved, say if this is in Sagittarius and you're involved in sports, it could be a time where you're able to make, those, brilliant catches, the one, acrobatic type catches if you're playing football, for example, even if it's just on a recreational level. This could be also a period of really from your early education might play an integral role in new beginnings at this time. In Pisces, it could be very inspirational. In Sagittarius, it might be giving you really a lot of they might factor in and inspiring you to be very enthusiastic and exuberant in making new starts. And the thing too is when you're it could also be, when Mercury, the thing about this too is that when you have this transit, now I'm using a 5-degree complete orb for this transit, because I'm talking about a 3-degree applying conjunction from Mercury to the ascendant and 2-degree separation. So when it's in the applying aspect, it's in the 12th house, and the thing is, it can be a time where it may be where what I call mercurial people, Mercury people, like siblings, cousins, neighbors, people that might be prone to your short journeys or early education. They may be in kind of still, they might be maybe somewhat hiding, not literally hiding from you, but they may be out of view for a little bit. But once that transit Mercury transitions into the first house, it could be a time where they actually come more into view, because the 12th house, remember, is what's hidden. It's about restrictions, limitations, it's solitude, seclusion. Those people may be somewhat hidden for a little bit, but as it gets right to the that makes the exact conjunction, the ascendant, and then into the first house, then that is when you might actually have more the actual contact with them. But one more thing I want to get is that it could also be that other Mercury people, mercurial, I call Mercury professions, like journalists, writers, people in communication fields in general, like data or satellite communications, things involve dexterity, like auto refrigeration mechanics. Those people might come more into contact with you at this time, more so than usual. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.